Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of Stories from the Black Kitchen. Today we will focus on song number 10 from the third and last book of songs of John Dowland. Love stood amazed at sweet beauty's paine. That's the title. This song occupies a central place within the collection, not only in terms of its thematic significance, but also graphically, as seen in the table of contents. It is right in the middle. Love stood amazed at sweet beauty's paine. The third book of songs was published in 1603, just a month before the death of Queen Elizabeth. The book was released on the 21st of February and Queen Elizabeth passed away on the 24th of March. This entire collection can be seen as a tribute to Queen Elizabeth. In the song Love Stood Amazed, personified love watches as beauty is about to die. When we consider this song in the context of the entire collection, it becomes clear that it serves as a commentary on the surrounding songs as well as on the book as a whole. In the third book, we encounter Queen Elizabeth and her last love once again. But this time the perspective is one of the afterlife. He has been dead for 2 years, and the Queen is on the verge of death, passing between the world of the living and the world of the dead. The entire book is constructed in a manner reminiscent of a theatrical mask. Masks were popular at the time and favoured by the Queen. Here, the main characters are the Queen and Love, seeing that beauty is about to die, cries out to the heavens, "Oh gods, what wrong is mine? What is my fault in all this?" Love weeps for the fate of beauty, for the condition of the world, lamenting the cruelty of the gods and describing someone who falls from a great height, hoping to either be consumed in flames during the fall or shattered against rocks or cold sea waves. Who is this person who wishes to die so? It is strikingly reminiscent of the myth of Icarus and of a painting by the Flemish master Peter Brouwer the Elder, Landscape with a Fall of Icarus from 1558. When I was a child, this painting made a great impression on me. We had a book with Flemish Renaissance paintings at home, and in this painting you can see that life goes on. A shepherd leads his sheep further along, a farmer plows the earth, while in the bottom right corner Icarus drowns. He is drowning in the moment when you look, with only his legs and a few feathers from his wings visible. One is compelled to cry out, "Look, help him!" But no one hears. Daedalus, who was the father of Icarus, had to flee from King Minos, but unable to flee Crete by conventional means due to King's strict surveillance of all maritime routes, devised an alternative method of escape. He constructed wings for himself and for his son Icarus, using feathers secured with thread and wax. Before departure, he cautioned Icarus against flying too high, lest the sun melt the wax, or too low, lest the sea dampen the feathers. As they traversed the skies above the sea, Icarus, exhilarated by flight, disregarded his father's warnings and ascended too close to the sun. The wax melted, causing him to fall into the sea and drown. Daedalus, stricken with grief, recovered his body and buried it on a nearby island. The situation is similar in this song, but this time, in the case of Icarus from this song, there is love, who cries out to the gods, and through his cry, something changes. A transformation of the myth happens. The gods, indeed, hear love's call, and turning away from other matters, they transform Icarus into the shape of a phoenix, which is reborn in flames and will never die. And here, an important question arises. Who is this Icarus in this song? One can immediately draw parallels to the Earl of Essex and his fate, who, like Icarus, sought to reach the sun, represented by the Queen, and, like Icarus, came too close and was burnt, and then fell from great heights. On the 1st of December 1599, Rowland White wrote about the downfall of Essex. This is the greatest downfall I have seen in my days, which makes me see the vanity of the world. From the highest spire of contentment, my fortune is thrown. We read in other songs. Down, down, down I fall, down and arise I never shall. This is from the second book of songs of John Dowland from 1600. Two songs, Flow My Tears and Sorrow Stay. Essex was also directly compared to Icarus by his contemporaries. Francis Bacon, in a letter to Essex from September 1600, writes, I will read the letter to you. My lord, no man can better expound my doings than your lordship, which maketh me need to say the less. Only I humbly pray you to believe that I aspire to the conscience and commendation first of bonus civis, which with us is a good and true servant to the Queen, and next of bonus vir, that is an honest man. I desire your lordship also to think that though I confess I love some things much better than I love your lordship, as the Queen's service, her quiet and contentment, her honour, her favour, the good of my country and the like, yet I love few persons better than yourself, both for gratitude's sake and for your own virtues, which cannot hurt but by accident or abuse, of which my good affection I was ever and am ready to yield testimony by any good offices, but with such reservations as yourself cannot but allow. For as I was ever sorry that your lordship should fly with waxen wings, doubting Icarus' fortune, so for the growing up of your own feathers, especially ostriches, or any other save a bird of prey, no man shall be more glad. And this is the axle tree whereupon I have turned and shall turn, which to signify to you, though I think you are of yourself persuaded as much, is the cause of my writing, and so I commend your lordship to God's goodness. Your lordship's most humbly, Francis Bacon. And then there is a reply from Essex. Mr. Bacon, I can neither expound nor censure your late actions, being ignorant of all of them save one, and having directed my sight inward only to examine myself. You do pray me to believe that you only aspire to the conscience and commendation of bonus civis and bonus vir, and I do faithfully assure you that while that is your ambition, though your cause be active and mind contemplative, yet we shall both convenire in eodem tertio and convenire inter nos ipsos. Your profession of affection and offer of good offices are welcome to me. For answer to them I will say but this, that you have believed I have been kind to you, and you may believe that I cannot be other, either upon my humour or mine own election. I am a stranger to all poetical conceits, or else I should say somewhat of your poetical example. But this I must say, that I never flew with other wings than desire to merit and confidence in my sovereign's favour. And when one of these wings failed me, I would light nowhere but at my sovereign's feet, though she suffered me to be bruised with my fall. And still her majesty, that knows I was never bird of prey, finds it to agree with her will and her service that my wings should be imped again. I have committed myself to the new. No power by my gods and my sovereigns can alter this resolution of your retired friend Essex. From high rock of despair he falls, we read in the song. Here we have the myth of Icarus already after its first transformation, evolving from a tale of tragic fate caused by pride and disobedience into a symbol of youthful idealism, ambition, and courage, combined with risk and unattainable desires. This myth reveals human striving to transcend boundaries, which can lead to both triumph and downfall when confronted with reality. Who are the gods in this song? Could it be the queen herself? Or perhaps these are some mythical gods who hold absolute power over humans and possess the ability to alter their lives. These figures can be interpreted in various ways, though allusions to the queen are unmistakable. In the third and fourth stanzas, we find fairly explicit criticism of someone who wields royal power and holds the scepter. After all, the scepter is one of the royal insignia. In the third stanza we read, "With guiltless blood your scepters you stain, on poor true hearts like tyrants you reign." And then in the fourth, "Why have you slain the life of love on earth?" A deeply dramatic question about ultimate matters. The song is written in a style distinct from other songs of John Dowland. It is not a strictly polyphonic lute song, although echoes of polyphony are still present. It is a song in a new style, which Dowland encountered in Italy, stile recitativo. This is a new dramatic style of speaking with a voice, created by the Florentine Camerata, where the dramma per musica was born. When one analyzes the vocal part with its limited amplitude and melismatic, recitative-like melodic character, one could comfortably put this piece within this new style, of which the most famous representative was Giulio Caccini. The final plea and cry of love, however, is set in a polyphonic lute part, which could be interpreted as an attempt to communicate with divine beings inhabiting a different sphere from the human. Just as church music was intended primarily for communication with God, so too do these concluding measures serve a similar purpose. This time it is communication with mythical gods. It is important to remember that for a contemporary, non-courtly audience, yet part of the enlightened public, both Queen Elizabeth and the Earl of Essex were semi-mythical figures about whom people read and whose story became fodder for many ballads, stories, plays and writings circulating in contemporary society. And returning once more to love, love is represented here in a masculine gender, in a masculine form. The personification of love in itself is nothing new in the 16th and 17th century poetry. Love was often depicted as a flying boy shooting arrows at people, causing them to fall in love. Even in John Dowland's other songs, Cupid is presented in this way, flying to and fro, for example, blinded by her, the Queen's fair eyes, beautiful eyes. It says, Cupid doth hover up and down, blinded by her fair eyes. This is from Time Stands Still. This is the song number 2 from the same book. In our song, however, love is portrayed differently. It is a serious figure, possessing divine qualities, or at least belonging in some way to the divine realm. Moreover, as I said, it is masculine in gender. It is a figure akin to those found in ancient dramas, possessing great power, the power to speak to the gods. Everything that occurs in this song happens in another sphere, not the human one, but in the world of spirits and otherworldly beings. And at this point, the great power of music becomes apparent. The Earl of Essex, through this song, the Earl of Essex, Icarus, undergoes a transformation. He will no longer be subjected to death. He will not perish on the rocks. But like a phoenix, he will rise from the ashes and live forever. And the memory of him will survive the end of his world. And now, let's listen to the song.
Love stood amazed at sweet beauty's pain. Love would have said that all was but vain, and God's but half divine. But when love saw that beauty would die, he only gazed to his deep cry. Oh God, what wrong is mine? Then is his bread in thoughts of salt brine, fell from his eyes like rain in sunshine, expelled by rage of fire. Yet in such wise as anguish affords, he did express